More than 30,000 migrants and their families could get residency in Britain if the EU's plan goes ahead. The EU has suggested that Sir Keir Starmer might agree to let tens of thousands of migrants enter the UK each year. EU leaders have said that Starmer won't get a free deal if he wants to improve relations with the EU, and migration is one of the key issues. Before the Prime Minister's visit to Brussels for discussions on a new post-Brexit deal, it's been reported that EU leaders want the UK to make compromises on migration, fishing and youth mobility in exchange for better relations. In terms of fishing, the EU wants continued access to British waters for their fishing fleets, which is currently only allowed until 2026. On migration, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen is expected to ask Starmer to discuss a new agreement. This deal could involve Britain taking in a certain number of asylum seekers from the EU. With the UK facing a growing migrant crisis, von der Leyen is expected to encourage the UK to align with the EU's new asylum rules. The EU also wants the UK to agree to a new youth mobility plan, like the ones the UK has with Australia and Japan. In return, Starmer is hoping to reduce trade restrictions to help boost the UK's economy. An EU diplomat said, "We have important interests in youth mobility and fishing that must be considered." Another diplomat added, "There won't be any free deals." A UK government source said they expect von der Leyen to bring up the EU's demands in her meeting with Starmer, but detailed talks might not start for a few months. They understand our key issues, like customs, the single market, and freedom of movement, but we hope to find common ground in areas where both sides benefit, the source said. As the UK deals with the migrant situation, von der Leyen is expected to push for Britain to follow the EU's new asylum plan, which would involve countries in the EU taking a share of asylum seekers each year, starting with at least 30,000. EU leaders think Starmer's government might be open to this idea, which would allow the UK to send some migrants back to Europe for the first time since Brexit. In return, Britain would have to agree to take in some of the asylum seekers arriving in Europe, along with granting residency to their families. Although Starmer's team has said they don't want to agree to migrant quotas with the EU, Brussels is likely to make it a key part of negotiations. A government source mentioned that they are open to considering a limited agreement where the UK might take in some unaccompanied children with family in the UK.